The B word?
Closer, you're so fast. Wow, how did we meet? Let me think about this. When was the first time? I'll tell you the first time I met her. Interesting enough. Like, before I officially met her, the first time I saw her was at church. She was sitting in the row in front of me, and she was just in praise and worship. I'm like, wow, this woman like is worshiping in another way. So that's how I first noticed her. And I think the first time I officially met you was at I can't remember, at a friend's get together.
No, Leo introduced us at
Oh
church.
yes, at church.
It's, Easter production.
Yes.
I have a better memory than him. Clearly.
She really does. Yeah.
The first time I noticed him was when he was speaking with so much confidence in front of so many people as an angel, like in a costume. I think his boldness above all things I really love a lot, because you need to have confidence.
What do we like the most about each other? Wow. Her hair, first of all. Yeah, her hair. Like, that's the one thing that really caught my attention when I first saw her, because she's got this natural frizzy hair. I'm just so attracted to that. And then of course her eyes. Friendship. We're getting to know each other with intention, because I think dating on the other hand has labels, boyfriend, girlfriend, but ours is more long term. We see ourselves going on for the rest of our lives. So courtship, I feel, and I think she would agree with me and she'll add on, is more of a long-term focus. It's more intentional and having fun and just being ourselves. But of course we have certain goals. By this time we want to be married. This is where we want to go. These are the adventures we want to take. One of the adventures she really wanted to take was she wanted to go horse riding at the beach for the longest time. So for her birthday, we actually went horse riding at the beach, which is really cool. And the nice thing is that this past holiday, I think it's one of the best holidays we've been on, and we spent the least amount of money. We went down to PE to spend time with my family. And then after that, we went to Cape Town, spend time with her family for a week.
We want to travel more than anything. That's something that we cherish, because we love seeing new places and going new places.
Yeah.
So I think for us, we spoke about at the beginning of this year, we want to go to different areas in South Africa first before we go out of the country. We always joke about this. We always say one day we're going to just pitch up at like OR Tambo, and we're gonna say, can we have the next international flight? And we're gonna have nothing else but just ourselves and our passports and money. That's all we're gonna have. We're just gonna pitch and be like, the next flight out of this country, let's go.
Yeah. Wow, so interesting enough, when I met her family in Cape Town, her mother's like the CEO of the family. The first thing that she said to me, she's like, "Ooh, you're a lot taller than I expected." So I immediately felt accepted and loved, and I understood where her love and unconditional love towards people comes from. It comes from her mother, because she's a very welcoming and accommodating lady. She's full of love. So I understand where all her love comes from.
The time we spent in, actually, my birthday was on the 23rd of December, and it was the very first birthday in years that I did not work on my birthday. And they made my birthday so special. So it started with a church service. After that, he took me horse riding on the beach, which I really wanted to do for so long. And when we got home, there was like a whole braai and a whole like lunch and cakes and stuff set up for me, and they started singing. So I was just, it really like, it hit home that wow, these people, they really went out of their way. And I really appreciated that. That was one of the highlights of my holiday, and a birthday that I really won't ever forget.
Wow, what do we do to build each other up? I think one of the major things is that we always challenge each other to be better. So Like, if I'm feeling like a victim today, she'll make sure that I remember who I am. And that's an important thing. What I'm going through doesn't necessarily define who I am, but she always sees the best in who I am and pushes me towards the man that God created me to be. And that's what I really appreciate. So that really helps me.
Yeah, what helps me is I'm a very busy person. I work part-time, I study, I'm very involved in church structure and church activities. So with all of that going on, I always thought that I wouldn't be able to go into a relationship because I do not think somebody should give so much of themselves or sacrifice so much for me. I think that's a bit selfish. But with Simphiwe, he really like just made it so easy. He literally fitted into it, and he's so accommodating. Even when I don't understand how everything is going to work out, he will sacrifice. He will always make sure that he gives himself so much to make sure that I can get to whatever I can get to. It's not the thing of, oh my word, you're spending so much time with church. Oh my word, you're always at school. You're always at work. You sacrifice your Saturdays, and then Sundays you serve the whole day. When are we going to have time? I never feel that he feels like burdened by my life, and that's a very important thing because I've been independent for a very long time in my life. I never want to be a burden to someone else. So I thank God that he always makes sure that I never feel like a burden, but he's always telling me, I'm in this with you. We are in this thing together.
Yeah. Before we started dating, like I think it was like 3 months before we started dating, I was the first person to say I love you. And I think I caught her off guard because she never expected it. And then I remember she was leaving to go to work, and I was like, okay, I'll see you, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. And she never expected it. So yeah, I was the first person to do that, and I was very intentional with that.
And I remember getting to work, and that was all I could think about. It's like, he said I love you, and I said it back. Oh my word.
Yeah.
And I remember the next day was Sunday, and I spoke to my friend. I'm like, friend, something happened. This is crazy. He said I love you, and I actually said it back. And I remember it being a thing of, but if that is really what you're feeling, why would you not share it with the next person? Why are we always, because I think for me, because I've gotten hurt so many times in previous relationships, I always want to put up barriers and walls and not really let the other person see me fully for who I am, or see right through me. And I think for me that was very important step to take when we said it to each other, because I felt for the first time I can actually go further with him because I'm able to be vulnerable, and I'm able to be completely honest in a moment, even though I was caught off guard. And I just think that we should not be keeping ourselves from each other in that sense. If it's something that we feel, why hide it from the next person? If you know you are building for eternity, if you know that this is purpose driven and where you are going with this. Because I mean, at that time I already knew everything that I had to know for me to say yes the moment he had to ask me, for courtship. So yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. And she said something very important: vulnerability. She allowed herself to be vulnerable because I allowed myself to be vulnerable. And as men, I think that's a misconception in today's time, that vulnerability is weakness. I honestly think vulnerability is your greatest strength, and it allows you to be your most authentic self, and allows your person to be able to open up and be transparent, because transparency in any relationship is very important.
Yeah. And then when the moment came down, when Simphiwe asked if we could take this further, more than friendship, I think we sat down and we discussed what is our boundaries, what is our do's and our don'ts. And I think that's very important before a relationship, because there's so many blurred lines that you have to make sure the next person knows where you come from.
Yeah.
And during that conversation, and actually that conversation happened before we actually went to our pastors, and we said that no kissing, because
that's a real thing.
Because we knew each other's past, and we knew that we wanted to keep our relationship as pure as possible, because we wanted God to be glorified before us, before what we felt for each other. We knew that God is taking us on a journey because He wanted to do something amazing through our lives, and we knew that if we are going to mess it up, we might just miss our purpose. And that's what we learned in Bible school, is that God takes two people together, bring them together so that they can fulfill each other's purpose with one another, to help each other. And we always want to help each other fulfill our purposes, because we have just amazing vision from what God wants to do through our lives. So we decided we're going to keep it completely pure, and we've never looked back. I mean, it's a year now, and it's never been a problem in that sense, because we know where we are going, and we are very honest and open towards one another.
And I think the biggest thing is we've got to understand who we are. I know her love language, I know my love language. We're both physical touch and quality time, and we're both very passionate people. So for our relationship, if we kissed, it would never just be a kiss. It would never just be a kiss. Do I want to kiss her? Yes, I do. But I know, like, from my past experience, what that would do. And we want to maintain the purity of our relationship so that it glorifies God at the end of the day. That's the most important thing. So where we're going with our relationship is the long haul. And all I can say is that I've never had a doubt in my heart that she's the person that I'm supposed to be with. Like, in my past experiences, there's always been like a little bit of doubt, and I've never listened to that doubt. But with Wilmary, I've never had that doubt. And from the day we started talking, I mean, I don't think we've ever missed a day of talking. We always talk. So I have no doubt that we're meant to be together.
Yeah, and one of our pastors always say that whatever you do before marriage, you take from your marriage. So I think we're gonna have an amazing marriage one day because of what we cherish. And leave for marriage and and I also think it builds our relationship stronger, because our relationship is not founded on the physical, but actually on the emotional, and spending time with one another, getting to know one another. It's actually the purest form of friendship that we're building it upon.
I know we talk a lot, but I want to add this. I think the most important thing is you've got to understand what your relationship means to you. We never wanted to follow what the world defines our relationship, what our friends say we should do. We wanted to keep it authentic and real for us. So we're not saying that kissing is bad or anything, but we know for us personally that it wouldn't work out.
Thank you so much. That was phenomenal, guys.
Thank you so much.